Yeah, Tyler, I mean, that kind of ties it. You mentioned, a couple minutes ago as you started to talk about Ramon, the knee injury that you came into the league with, and Tyler
Right.
actually put a question in our notes about that. Do you feel like that impacted your year last year? Because I feel like there was an article I was reading online when I was like preparing the questions to ask you for this, and I saw an article where you had a quote in there about like you kind of needed the red shirt year.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about what like last year was like for you being just part of the practice squad.
I mean, for me, it was disappointing that I couldn't play as much as I wanted to. You know what I mean? And me coming out of college with that knee injury was kind of like it was something that was lingering. You know what I mean? And I had to continue to rehab and continue to get right. As much as my mind was ready to play, my body wasn't ready to play. You know what I mean? And it would have been crazy for me to go force it out there, even if it was to force something like that and mess it up even worse. You know what I mean? And Tomlin knew that, and now that the strength coaches knew that, and they had a plan for me that I couldn't see at the time. You know what I mean? So I continue just to trust in the process that things will work out in my favor, and which it has done so far. You know what I mean? So I just use that as motivation. You know what I mean? Like football's a tough sport. You know what I mean? You're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get banged up, and I'm not a person that's gonna sit around and allow that injury to linger around forever to the point it prohibits me from doing anything. So did it bother me last year a little bit to the point that I needed that? Yeah, it definitely needed it. And I feel like my body's way stronger and way more a professional body than it was last year.
So were you playing through that at Maryland?
So my last year at Maryland, I actually was hurt. I just came back from that knee scope. I actually had 2 knee surgeries on that one knee. And then when I got it fixed, it wasn't quite ready to go yet that beginning of the year against Texas. It wasn't ready to go. I couldn't plan. I couldn't do anything. So by the third game, I set out for 3 games. Well, 3 games. 2 games. I didn't play the first one. I played the second one because we was playing against Bowling Green, which is a little school just to test and see if I'm ready to play, which I played well. But after the fact, my knee blew up real bad. And it was like starting to affect my other leg because I was kind of overcompensating one leg. So with that being said, so I had to rest again the next game. So it kind of like lingered that whole year. So I didn't really, when people pulled my film up and saying, Derwin doesn't look like the same player from his junior year where he was going to be a top round pick. This year it looks like he's still getting the job done, but he wasn't playing as fast or as quick as urgent as he was. But I was kind of hurt, you know what I mean? But during that time, you don't have time to complain about that. You got to get the job done. And that's what I did. When I got through the combine process and all that, even when I got to Pittsburgh, it was like, I have to get the job done to get here, to stay here, you know what I mean? And then when it's over with, then then people evaluate what's wrong. And then they knew right then that my knee was bothered. They wanted to see if I fight, and which I proved. And that's why I'm still here.
Yeah, did that affect your combine preparation and your scouting as well?
It definitely did. A lot of teams looked at my knee surgery as because it was so bad, kind of like, you know what I mean, it was kind of bad surgery that it was a 50-50 chance you could play again. You know what I'm saying, dealing with that as far as the flexibility of that knee. And a lot of teams didn't really want to take the chance because they was kind of nervous if, like, you know what I'm saying, you get drafted high and go out there and an injury comes and you can't play no more. You know what I'm saying? So which I totally understand as a business. You got to build your team as best you can to win the Super Bowl. But I tell you, as motivation that whoever team gets me, they're going to get a steal. And I feel like the Steelers got a steal with me, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, this year they definitely see why I was a steal, which Tomlin already seen all through the year of me getting better. And he's seen what type of player I am, and he knows it. That's why I'm still here.
Right.
That's real respect. And I also think that as a guy, recruiting a guy to come here, like, it's a family. Like, you know what I mean? Coach Tomlin from Tomlin and Colbert, like, those guys are in the locker room with us. They're not just one of those guys that sits upstairs and, you know what I mean, and just call the shots and tell you to go do stuff. Like, they tell you why. And they come down there after we get our work in, they fool around with us a little bit. Crack jokes, whether in the cold tub, they crack jokes, they come fast, play pool. Kevin swear he's the best pool player in the world. Like, they're just facts.